Now, the man convicted of killing his girlfriend and a 2-day-old will spend the rest of his life in prison and then some time after that. Brandon Isabel was already serving a life sentence for killing his girlfriend, Danielle Hoyle, and their newborn daughter, Kennedy, back in 2022.
Just 2 days after welcoming her newborn daughter into the world, 27-year-old Danielle Hoyle left home for what should have been a simple meeting with the baby's father. She believed he wanted to see their daughter and bring baby clothes. Instead, investigators say that meeting became the beginning of one of Memphis's most disturbing murder cases in recent years. On February 1st, 2022, Danielle drove with her 2-day-old daughter, Kennedy, to meet Brandon Isabel in the Whitehaven area of Memphis, Tennessee. When hours passed without hearing from her, concern quickly turned into fear. Family members knew where Danielle had planned to go, but no one expected what police would soon uncover. Officers searching the area found Danielle's vehicle abandoned on a secluded road. Nearby, they discovered Danielle dead from multiple gunshot wounds. But another question immediately took center stage. Where was baby Kennedy? The newborn was nowhere to be found. An urgent search began as law enforcement agencies worked to determine what had happened after Danielle was killed. Investigators pieced together Danielle's final movements, examined phone records and messages, interviewed witnesses, and focused on the last person known to have arranged a meeting with her. Subscribe to Matrix Crime and turn on the notification bell so you never miss our new case.
You can cry so much that tears don't even come down your eyes anymore. I ain't slept since 11. No, I haven't slept. Danielle, she missed by everybody. Like I say, young folks make mistakes, but that wasn't a mistake. There wasn't a reason to kill my daughter. I just wish I could just hold my grandbaby. I just want to tell them, I love them. I missed them. I want him to suffer like he made my baby suffer. I want him to hurt. I don't want it to be easy for him. I want him to suffer. He needs to suffer. Why would you hurt a baby?
Danielle Hoyle was 27 years old and lived in Memphis, Tennessee. Family members described her as loving and devoted to the people around her. She was excited to become a mother. Danielle became pregnant with a child fathered by Brandon Isabel. The pregnancy became a major source of conflict between the two of them. Prosecutors later introduced messages showing that Brandon repeatedly told Danielle he did not want the baby and wanted her to end the pregnancy. Danielle and Brandon had been involved in a romantic relationship, and that relationship deteriorated during her pregnancy. Evidence introduced at trial showed that Brandon was involved with another woman during this time. Danielle's family testified that they later learned Brandon was married. Prosecutors argued that Brandon wanted to continue his other relationships without the responsibility of raising a child. Investigators uncovered communications showing that Brandon did not want to become a father and viewed the pregnancy as an obstacle. He urged Danielle to terminate it. One message presented during the trial stated, in part, that he could not be a father, and he urged her to end what he called their mistake. On January 31st, 2022, Danielle gave birth to a daughter, Kennedy Hoyle. Kennedy was healthy. Family members were able to spend only a brief time with the newborn. Danielle's mother later testified that she had about 1 hour with her granddaughter before the events that followed.
I'm supposed to be loving on my grandbaby. I'm supposed to be loving on my daughter, but I ain't loving on her. I can't love her how I want to love her. I got to love her from afar. That's not right. That's not right, but like I say, if you feel as though somebody's going to mistreat you, or do something to you, just leave. Get far away, because you never know these people's minds now. I mean, it's sad that you would want to hurt a baby, and all you had to do was just leave.
On February 1st, 2022, Brandon contacted Danielle and told her he wanted to meet. Prosecutors said he claimed he had baby clothes and wanted to see the newborn. Danielle left her home with Kennedy and drove to meet him. Her family expected her to return shortly. Brandon directed Danielle to an isolated area near East Levi Road and Sedgwick Street in the Whitehaven neighborhood of Memphis. Prosecutors argued that the secluded location was chosen intentionally. According to Brandon's confession and the evidence presented at trial, he shot Danielle multiple times, including in the head. She died at the scene, and her body was left near the roadside. After Danielle was killed, Brandon removed Kennedy from the vehicle. The newborn was still alive. He then drove toward the Upper Mud Island boat ramp on the Mississippi River. Investigators testified that he removed Kennedy from her car seat, threw the infant into the river, and discarded the murder weapon into the water at a separate point nearby. Kennedy's remains have never been recovered, despite extensive searches. Police encountered the scene while searching the area for stolen vehicles. Officers found Danielle's vehicle abandoned, with a broken window and no occupants inside. They ran the license plate, which led them to contact Danielle's family. Family members told investigators that Danielle had gone to meet Brandon and that Kennedy had been with her. While speaking with relatives, officers searched nearby and found Danielle's body close to the roadway. Kennedy was missing. Investigators documented the crime scene, including Danielle's body, her abandoned vehicle, and physical evidence around the roadway. Because Kennedy could not be located, Tennessee authorities issued an Amber Alert, and multiple agencies joined the search for her. Investigators quickly focused on Brandon as the primary suspect. Danielle had gone to meet him. He was Kennedy's father, and family members identified him as her last planned contact. Police detained him soon afterward. During his police interview, Brandon first offered false or inconsistent accounts, including a claim that he had met Danielle to exchange baby clothes. During a recorded interrogation, he admitted luring Danielle to the location, admitted shooting her, admitted taking Kennedy, and admitted throwing the baby and the gun into the river. That confession became one of the prosecution's strongest pieces of evidence after the court ruled it admissible. Authorities conducted extensive searches for Kennedy involving multiple agencies. Efforts included river searches, boats, dive teams, and shoreline searches. Despite these efforts, Kennedy was never found. During the investigation and trial, prosecutors presented additional evidence. This included text messages between Brandon and Danielle, showing his opposition to the pregnancy, as well as messages sent after the killings that prosecutors argued were attempts to cover his actions. Physical evidence included Danielle's vehicle and other crime scene evidence, along with testimony about a baby's hat found during the search near the river. Witnesses at trial included Danielle's mother, April Campbell, investigating officers, detectives involved in Brandon's interrogation, and Brandon's other girlfriend, who described aspects of his relationships and interactions around the time of the murders. In September 2022, a grand jury indicted Brandon Isabel on 2 counts of first-degree murder, 1 count of especially aggravated kidnapping, and 1 count of aggravated child abuse and neglect. Over the next 3 years, the case moved through numerous pre-trial hearings. The defense challenged the admissibility of Brandon's confession, but the court ultimately ruled that jurors would be allowed to hear the recorded confession during the trial. The trial began in September 2025. Prosecutors argued that Brandon planned the murders in order to avoid the responsibilities of fatherhood, that he lured Danielle to the scene under false pretenses, and that he killed both mother and child to remove that responsibility entirely. The jury heard Brandon's recorded confession, testimony from detectives, testimony from family members, the digital communications between Brandon and Danielle, and evidence establishing the timeline of events. The defense entered a not guilty plea and challenged aspects of the investigation, including the confession. The jury rejected those arguments. After deliberations, the jury found Brandon Isabel guilty on all 4 counts: first-degree murder in the death of Danielle Hoyle, first-degree murder in the death of Kennedy Hoyle, especially aggravated kidnapping, and aggravated child abuse and neglect. The guilty verdict was returned in late September 2025. For the murder convictions, the jury recommended life sentences, with the possibility of parole after 51 years for each conviction under Tennessee law. In November 2025, Judge Jennifer Johnson imposed consecutive sentences totaling 147 years. 51 years for the murder of Danielle, 51 years for the murder of Kennedy, 22.5 years for especially aggravated kidnapping, and 22.5 years for aggravated child neglect. Prosecutors noted the significance of the two 22.5-year terms, representing 1 year for every hour of Kennedy's life. Danielle's mother, April Campbell, gave testimony describing the brief time she spent with Kennedy after her birth and the loss of both her daughter and her granddaughter. Following the guilty verdict, she described finally feeling some measure of relief.
And it's a very tough night for the loved ones of Danielle Hoyle and her 2-day-old baby. Family and friends held a candlelight vigil for the late mother and her daughter Kennedy. The community showed their support as they honored the two through a special ceremony with encouraging words, prayer, and a balloon release in Memphis this evening. Hoyle's mother, April Campbell, says that she can't believe that this is her reality. And she urges anyone who may be in a similar situation to not ignore any warning signs of abuse.
I'm supposed to be loving on my grandbaby. I'm supposed to be loving on my daughter, but I ain't loving on her. I can't love them how I want to love them. I got to love them from afar. That's not right. That's not right. But like I say, if you feel as though somebody's going to mistreat you or do something to you, just leave. Get far away, because you never know these people's minds now. I mean, it's sad that you would want to hurt a baby, and all you had to do was just leave.
Campbell also says she wants justice and won't stop until she gets answers. Memphis police continue to search for baby Kennedy after her father, Brandon Isabel, told police he dumped her in the Mississippi River in February.